So why don't we get to introducing our panel,
Okay.
who was so nice to give us their Sunday evening and share with our audience.
Okay.
So why don't you go ahead and do that, and I will press the
In
buttons
no
to bring them
particular
on.
order, okay? Because they are all awesome, okay? We're going to bring on Diane Forden, former editor-in-chief of Bridal Guide Magazine. We're going to bring on Nancy Lee, president, MyRegistry.com. We're going to bring on Jeanette Kruska, of Director of PR and Marketing of Kleinfeld Bridal. And we're going to bring on Eric Kent, the co-founder of njwedding.com. Thank you for being here, everybody.
Oh, you're welcome.
Happy anniversary, guys.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah, we thought no way to better to spend our 29th wedding anniversary than with all of these people who are just starting their journey to hopefully 29 or more years together. So we're thrilled that you could join us tonight and share your wisdom and maybe see what we can pick up in advice and for our next 30 years.
So let's go around.
And...
Let's go around so everybody can just tell them a little bit more about themselves and their position in the world of weddings. And then we'll just have a nice conversation about the new mindset, especially in the times we're living in now.
If you have questions and you're on the main hall page, you can just put your name in the chat. There's a question box, or in the chat we have that monitored. So you can check that. You can check that out there. So why don't we go ahead and start the introductions? Holly, we're going to start with the
Diane.
way we introduce. So
yes,
Diane,
the same way I just did.
Sure.
And,
hi, everyone. Okay. Hi, everyone. So great to be here tonight. And congratulations to Holly and Robert on this amazing event, and to all of the participants and all of you joining us. I first entered the world of bridal back in 1989 when I was hired as fashion beauty director for Bridal Guide Magazine, and became editor-in-chief in 1995. So I have spent over 30 years in the wedding industry, helping to inform brides and grooms about how to plan this most important event in your life. And I have to say, I recently left the magazine, and it was bittersweet. I love the category and absolutely loved working with people in the industry, fashion designers, wedding planners, and love also being able to help brides and grooms plan their day. So it's a pleasure for me to be here, and I look forward to hearing what everyone has to say and answering any questions you might have.
Beautiful. Shall we just jump right in? Hi, I'm Nancy Lee. I'm president of MyRegistry.com. And again, Holly and Robert, congratulations not only on this incredible event, but also on your 29th wedding anniversary. That's quite a milestone. And also to your daughter who's about to get married, congratulations. So I'm here to represent the gift registry side of the wedding planning, which of course is a very important time for couples. My registry has been around since 2005. We're the largest, and we were the first universal gift registry. For those of you who are not aware of what a universal gift registry is and does. Basically, we have a platform that is a wonderful place for you to be able to create your ultimate gift registry for your wedding. You can add absolutely anything that you want from any store on the planet, synchronized store registries, and we've got lots and lots of sharing tools and the whatnot. Hopefully, we'll be able to get into a little bit more about when we start talking about wedding trends for 2021, because there's so many interesting things happening in the registry space. And thank you so much for having me this evening.
Oh, thank you so much. Here. And Jeanette, you're with the leading bridal retail fashion when it comes, and everyone knows Kleinfeld. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and your relationship with Kleinfeld.
So I'm Jeanette Kruska. I'm the Director of Marketing and Public Relations for Kleinfeld. I've been with Kleinfeld for over 20 years, so I have many years of experience in the world of bridal fashion. And for those of you who don't know Kleinfeld, Kleinfeld, also known as the home of TLC Say Yes to the Dress, is the largest. We carry the largest selection of designer bridal gowns and accessories and veils. I'll be here in the booth to answer any bridal fashion questions you might have, or any questions about when to shop, how to start shopping for your dress, any questions about accessorizing for your wedding. I'm here to answer all of it. And when you visit the booth, you'll also find some really great content, some really great tips, newest dresses, and of course, you'll be able to sign up for a $250 gift certificate to Kleinfeld. So again, I'm happy to be here in this space and happy to answer any fashion questions.
Thank you, Jeanette.
Thanks so much.
And Eric.
Hello, and this is so much fun to be here. My name is Eric Kent. I'm the co-publisher of NJWedding.com, along with my wife, Beth. And Beth and I will be celebrating 27 years of marriage this April. And we're in business together 24 years. We recently celebrated that on Valentine's Day. So we have a lot to celebrate, and we really enjoy the process of helping and being a resource for couples that are planning their wedding. And just being in the industry for this amount of time, we took our own understanding of what goes into planning a wedding and matched it with content online to help people find the services they need. And, whether it's venues or DJs, photographers, bands, anything related to wedding planning in New Jersey and parts of New York and Pennsylvania. So we've really enjoyed being a part of this at-home event, meeting everyone here tonight. Attendees can come by our booth as well and see lots of information, especially within New Jersey. We talk about the guidelines of wedding planning within the pandemic and what people can do. And we just celebrate the creativity of weddings in this time. So thank you.
Yeah. So, what's really amazing is that all of your websites have such a wealth of information, to really learn more. And you can do that at your leisure. But what I was really thinking about, is that the mindset that shifted, from, we used to always talk about trends. And I really think the mindset shifted mainly because of 2020, and couples have different views and expectations from their weddings. So I think that couples are really kind of skipping certain traditions from years past, and they're excited to see some newer priorities emerging, and especially, from styles, in fashion, in decor, in setting, in sustainability, in, everything, the setting. And the size. So there's lots of S's there. So talking about all of those things with relationship to what you all are experts in. Okay. I'm going to bring on Jeanette first. Why don't you talk a little bit? And all of you can chime in on this, and we can all kind of just have a casual conversation about it. But talk to us, Jeanette, a little bit about the fashion component. When someone wants to plan their wedding their way, right? It's so personal. And, talk about a little bit of that related to the world of fashion and choosing your gown.
Yeah, so like you said, bridal fashion really has changed over the years, and it's really about showing off your personality and feeling and looking your best self on your wedding day. There's really no rules and no, not so much tradition anymore. Of course, there's people and brides still have their religious practices that they might follow. But when it comes to the dress, there's really no rules. There's so many options now. You mentioned sustainability, and there's actually designers that are using fabrics that are very sustainable. So if that's important to you as a bride, you could shop those specific collections. Pernovius is a designer who's doing that now, and we have a selection of those. But if it's important for you to have 2 or 3 looks on your wedding day, then do it. Have a ceremony dress, which maybe has a big overskirt, and then you could remove the overskirt at the reception. So there's so many ways that you could really customize your look You could do the same thing with boleros and straps. So a lot of people are customizing that way and giving yourself 2 looks in one. So really the opportunities in wedding fashion are just endless.
Wait, I have a quick question. I know that, there are certain, and there have always been certain guidelines in terms of timing and when you should look for your gown. What has the current climate done in terms of timing and, how much time you should leave and all of that? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's a great question. So most of our brides shop 9 to 12 months prior to the wedding. And it's really because that gives you the most amount of options, right? Because it depends the designer you choose. Some designers can make a dress in 3 months, but some designers need the full 9 months. So you don't want to limit yourself and get to the store and only be able to see a handful of designers who can be received by the wedding date. So I say definitely start to shop 9 to 12 months prior. However, like Robert was alluding to, we are seeing brides with closer wedding dates because many brides have kind of put their plans on hold and they're waiting to see, when they could rebook their weddings. And some people are deciding to rebook them sooner than later. So in that case, we're getting brides that are shopping 3 to 4 months out. And luckily, we do have designers that we can work with that we can get you a dress in time. It's definitely it's a hard time frame to work with, but we have options and we also have sample dresses. So you can always get a dress off the rack any day of the week and walk out of the store with it.
That's great.
Yeah, and I know I've said this before, but I was a Kleinfeld bride, and
I was a Kleinfeld groom.
You were dressed to the nines. We had a very formal event. We talked about that earlier, but I will tell you, is there a designer still, Marissa?
No longer. No,
but you do remember it, right? Do you remember?
Absolutely, yeah. Diane probably remembers.
I do.
My picture from up there. So I still love the dress I wore because I think it was timeless. So, Nancy, I would like to hear a little bit when you talk about, because I think about fashion is also in the home and also what people choose, based on their lifestyle, and which is what we really refer to your registry as a lifestyle registry. So if it was about, decor and ambiance, talk a little bit about that, what people are really gravitating to when they're registering.
So it was really interesting to hear what Jeanette had to say just now, because actually the same kind of trends that are happening with women in their wedding dresses is also happening with gift registry. So to start with, the rules have all gone away. There isn't anybody telling you now that you have to register for crystal, you have to register for formal china, or any of these things that people traditionally put onto their gift registries 20 years ago. That's not to say that if it's not something that you want, that you don't put it on there, because if it is going to be your lifestyle, then that's definitely something you want to register for. But gift registries also now have really become all about the couple, who they are, what their lifestyle is going to be, and more about what kind of things they enjoy doing. So we're always seeing like these, when you have a universal registry, and that's part of the fun of using a universal registry, and you can add from literally any store in the world, we see, grooms really embracing them, and grooms that love DIY, they're, adding tools. And if they like to do things outside, we'll see things like weed whackers on a gift registry. Then we see the couples that, love boating, and they're going to have all of these things that they're choosing from stores like West Marine, or, couples that like hiking and biking, and they're adding things from Bass Pro, Cabela's, REI. So the registry trends have really just broadened out into absolutely every direction that you can think about. And people really reflect, who are we? What are we all about? And nobody is surprised to see these things on gift registries anymore. There's no more, oh my goodness, how could they put a hot air balloon trip on their registry? Well, if that's what this couple wants to do, well, by all means. So the Universal Registry has just burst open all of the boundaries of what was traditional. And that's not to say that you can't, put your Target registry up, or your Amazon registry, or your Bed Bath & Beyond registry. But in addition to those more traditional items, we have a browser button, kind of like a Pinterest pin, and you go to wherever you want, whatever you want, and you can add those items onto your gift list. And then one last quick thing about sustainability, you know, there is no green target today, right? So brides who are looking to really have a green registry need to pick from a lot of boutique stores. So we see so many eco-conscious couples that come onto our platform and use the browser button, and they add from all of these beautiful stores, you know, recycled glass dishes. There's so many things to choose from, and they're also very conscious about having a carbon neutral wedding. So these are all things that you can do today that you couldn't do before, and it's lots of fun.
I totally agree. It's lots of fun. Diane, I want you to chime in, because when it comes to, I know fashion and the home, you've covered it all. And right, you've covered tabletop market as much as you've covered fashion and runway. So talk a little bit about, you know, maybe a little bit about color and design and what's hot and happening.
Oh gosh, it's been pretty amazing over the years to see how weddings have evolved. When I first started, they were pretty much cookie cutter weddings. There was very little deviation from one wedding to the next. But over time, we started to see the rise of personalizing your wedding. And by this, I mean couples were taking a greater interest in not only planning together, but doing something different, unique, special that would surprise their guests and be able to tell a little bit more of their story, something more about them. And this has continued to evolve over time, and it will, and I don't see any end to it at all. I think that couples are really thinking about their, you know, the details of the day and wanting to have their guests walk away with something memorable about their wedding. And as far as design and decor, I think that, you know, right now, Holly, you mentioned Lindsay being a boho chic bride. Well, we saw that happening, the boho trend a while back. And I think that was, you know, couples are very conscious of what's happening in nature today, climate change, sustainability. And so they were embracing more of the natural world, more of a free-flowing bouquets and wanting to create this beautiful kind of garden-like atmosphere wherever they married. And I think that's also going to continue. And another trend we saw was creating like little comfort zones for their guests, especially if they were marrying outdoors. They would set up, and they still do, little seating areas where guests could just go and relax a little, talk a little bit. So I think, and they also have embraced color. And I think now, as we're seeing, hopefully an end to this pandemic and weddings taking off again, bigger and better in a lot of cases, I think you're going to see an embrace of color too, sort of, excuse me, expressing the joy of their day. So we see that in tabletop designs too. A lot of, as Nancy Lee mentioned, recyclables, and we're seeing, you know, just bringing sort of the garden to the table and the outdoor nature to the table. And another thing that I've been really impressed with the couples in planning is their choice of sustainability, farm to table. They will select wines from nearby wineries or give favors of jams from near, you know, strawberries or raspberries from nearby farms. So they're really embracing a lot of this in their wedding planning and a lot of this personalization, which will continue to go forward.
Yeah, I think that I think that the approach has been to be more meaningful, to be maybe more intimate, a little bit more simple, right? Not overdone. I think incorporating things from your past, your present, and perhaps your future. But, you know, one thing we're also talking about, you know, even when you talk farm to table, we're talking about from outside to indoors or outside to outside. So, Eric, that would be your area, you know, when it comes to the outside, because I do believe there are certain trends, like, you know, whether it be in what venues are doing these days, especially outside. So tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, they've had to adapt over the course of the last year or so. So, because weddings during the last year have been safer outdoors, and the opportunities for, here we are in the Garden State, outdoor weddings have been a big draw. And so either one, they would consider a smaller backyard wedding. So they turn their home into a wedding space on a limited basis for a number of guests. And perhaps they would do a Zoom wedding where they'll have a videographer come and set up a camera so they can actually have their wedding guests participate by teleconferencing in through Zoom or another one. And then restaurants and banquet facilities were helping couples by taking the inside space outside and installing tents in their gardens or their parking lots and creating a space for couples to celebrate. That's the biggest thing, is that there was one thing about the industry, and as I've known Holly and Robert for the 29 years that they've been married, and actually going into this business, they were my mentors as well. So I want to thank you for that. But teaching me about the industry itself, one of the things that I've learned is that people that work within the industry, from venues to service providers, will do anything they can to help accommodate their couples. And it's just, it's been proven so in the course of the past year. There's so much love and compassion for what everyone's gone through, that if it's, a venue helping to accommodate a certain number of guests outdoors, or have it, inside, outside, and accommodate, plans, they're flexible. And they've learned in so many ways how to create safe celebrations, from everything from hand sanitizers to, making sure everything is clean and safe, so that they encourage couples to have the wedding of their dreams, not so much in their private space, which anything can happen, but in a space where, they can help accommodate and track and even contact trace in the terms of what we learned, so that they know what their guests are doing, they know that they're safe, and they're following the guidelines. So I will mention that there's so much to offer in New Jersey anyway, when it comes to outdoor celebrations, from parks, from rustic barns, and historic locations. So it also goes to show that anything can be dreamed and basically done in New Jersey, the tri-state area, and beyond.
It's really great to see that the seasoned wedding professionals have really stepped up and come up with solutions and alternatives and options, so that it doesn't become where couples feel like they're kind of boxed into a corner and this is all they can possibly do. I've been really amazed at some of the creativity that's come out of this and how this comes off. And we've said this many times to Lindsay in Plenty, this will become part of your story. This is, in 20 years, when you're dealing with lots of other things, this will just be a blip, in that timeline, that you've had, and you'll look back on it as a moment, of this is what we went through. It'll become a story. It becomes part of family history. Hopefully, your families have not, suffered, the way many have, right? But there'll be empty seats, at some of these weddings. You'll have to think of new ways in which to honor our family. And I think it'll deepen the meaning overall of what a wedding really is all about. And it's not about the shooting confetti cannons and the flames and the puffs of smoke, and it's not about that.
Unless you want that.
Unless you want that. But I mean, it really, I think we've identified what it really boils down to when
but what I think also in living in a world of social media, leave everybody on, okay? Because everybody I feel can give input on this, okay? We are living in an era, okay, of shareable moments. Couples today, right? And all of us are guilty in a good way. It's a guilty pleasure, social media, right? If we love something, we take a photograph of it. And couples are the same. It's about the details. It's all the details, okay? Every single thing that all of you work on are on the details. And everybody wants to post these things on Instagram and Facebook. So share a little bit about that you know, about your couples and or vendors, you know, any of the people you're working with, you know, like, and their relationship with social? Any of you can chime in.
I'll jump in. It's been huge ever since, you know, the rise of social media. Brides and grooms, they go on Pinterest, they go on Instagram, they put mood boards together based on what they're seeing online, and it's a great source of inspiration for so many of them to see what other brides are doing. And, you know, we caution them, don't feel bridal peer pressure, but just get inspired by what you see and draw upon that. Because, you know, one idea someone has can trigger a great idea that you'll have that's totally different. And so it's really been a fantastic thing. And I have to say, with weddings last year, and unfortunately so many couples had to postpone their plans or rethink their wedding, technology was a lifesaver. It really was. It was a lifesaver. We were inundated at Bridal Guide with panicked brides saying, what do we do? You know, because everything had shut down. And we realized this was huge. This was major. So we did a story and interviewed many couples that had planned 2020 weddings. And what I came away with was this amazing resiliency on the part of the couples and on the part of all the people around them that gave them incredible support. The vendors, the wedding planners, everybody pulled together. And it was really fabulous to read their stories, to read their comments. And so many of them said, and Robert, you mentioned this, one said, just think of the story we have to tell our grandchildren. So many of them chose to have backyard weddings at their parents' home, and their grandmother made the cake. And, you know, they live streamed it, and maybe they sent their guests popcorn and beer to enjoy while they watch. So it was this kind of amazing ingenuity, can-do spirit, and love that really, I think, salvaged a lot of wedding days for couples last year. And many have planned to get married this year and into 2022. But it was, as many couples wrote to us, they said, it made us realize just how important this day is and what is really important about it. Yeah. And I think that's the takeaway for any wedding, no matter big or small. That is the takeaway. Think about what's really important. And they value their friends and family so much. And one person said, I just can't wait to hug everybody. And which is happening now. We're going to get there. Yep. So for us, it was just so life affirming, and just, you know, kudos to all those couples last year and all the vendors and all the wedding planners that had to rethink everything because they did it, and they did it beautifully.
Yeah. And I think for couples to live through the moment in which things have changed forever, I think a lot of the changes, a lot of the trends that will come out of this, I think will be long lasting and carry more meaning than ever before. And due to in large part by the wedding industry at large, to be able to support this and come up with those solutions and those alternatives. And it's okay. We'll get there. We'll work with you. We'll shift timelines. We'll give you ideas on how to give back. And you know, so, you know, without the wedding pros there supporting the community, it would all fall apart. It really would, you know, and I think we all deserve a little bit of a pat on the back to be able to battle through an economically devastating time for all of us as wedding professionals and still be there to support the wedding community at large. I think it really says something about who wedding professionals are, you know, in general. I really do.
You know, I think it wasn't just social, it was just technology overall that really, shaped this period. And a lot of people started, relying more on the technology, embracing it, things that they didn't necessarily think that they could. The 80-year-old grandmother is now watching, their granddaughter get married on Zoom, as you guys had mentioned. All of those things really reshaped the last year. Also with registry, so many people really stepped forward and wanted to start supporting their local businesses. So they were, instead of just having these big box registries, they were also very focused on making sure that, small retailers from their community were being represented on their gift list, that people were purchasing things from their local community so that these stores were going to survive through this period. And it was really great for us to kind of watch the whole industry spirit of the couples and the families, and how they just embraced and started to look at things differently, that the whole world was not just Amazon, Target, and Walmart anymore, and that people really cared to make sure that that gift shop that was selling beautiful tabletop items or a piece of art, or those things were represented on your gift list, so that you knew that part of what you were doing was giving back to your community.
Yeah, very.
It really was
important.
amazing. I think it really was amazing, like you said, Nancy, how everyone really did embrace the technology.
Mm-hmm.
And at Kleinfeld, that was something we had to do. We had to pivot quickly, and we realized that we, we're closed from March through July, and we weren't able to help any brides find their dream dress. So we had to think about, how can we do this virtually? And so we offer virtual appointments, and we've had hundreds of them from people all over the world, not just the United States. And we have perfected it. We built a special room with special lighting inside of Kleinfeld. We have special computers and special cameras, and it's really special. We will even have a model. We'll get someone that could be a similar size and height of the bride who's working with us on this virtual appointment. And if she's seeing dresses that she likes, but she really wants to see them on a body, we sometimes have that person available to try them on, or we show them on bust forms, and we're able to remove the iPad and bring it closer so you can actually see details of the fabrications and the beading and the embroidery.
Amazing.
It's been so successful.
Great.
It really say yes to the dress from home, and you can have all your friends and family join in through Zoom. They could all be on the same link, and that's been something really exciting. And if you would have asked me 20 years ago if someone would buy a wedding dress like that virtually, I would say no. And it's something we're continuing to improve on.
But you know what? I hope that you'll continue to do that, because if you think about it, why not be able to offer that in-person experience that everyone knows and loves at Kleinfeld?
I don't think that
people are still going to want to go. They're still going to want to go. But I think that it's still a nice option.
Yeah, and I think people will still be hesitant to shop. Sorry, people may still be hesitant to travel, so we're absolutely going to keep.
Yes. Eric, I want to ask you, because you're in a unique position to kind of see what these couples are talking about and what they're saying. I mean, you run so many groups, and you've become this trusted directory, this resource. Is there a common concern that you've picked up on? Is there something that, like, all couples that they're either asking about, or they're chiming in and saying, yeah, I'm thinking about that too? Have you been able to discern? Is there a common kind of concern that you're seeing?
That's a great question. And in listening to everyone and the discussion, I want to mention that it's really information, or rather being informed. And I think that's such a central thing to understanding what is possible, not having either misinformation or any kind of confusion. So having, clarity in what you're looking for and having good options. I was going to mention, based on our discussion here, is that I've always known the wedding industry and people within the wedding community to be innovative and creative. Now I will add a third, is that they're resilient. And the fact is that they can take a situation like what we've just gone through in the past year and make the most of it and come up with ideas, come up with solutions, To Jeanette's point before, I wanted to mention something funny, is that, people are hungry for information and they'll get it. Obviously, I'm a big supporter of social media and all the different facets of that. But Jeanette, I spoke with the bride through the at-home event on Thursday from California. And she found out about the event, came into my booth, and we chatted for about 20, 30 minutes. And one of the things that she loved about planning her wedding was going on to Say Yes to the Dress, and going on to episodes and learning about people's choices. And obviously she was praising Randy and all the people that made it possible to learn. And she also mentioned a handful of wedding related TV shows, and here in New Jersey we can claim many of those over the years, as far as reality TV. So the fun thing is that there's so many things that go into planning, and you can find it in so many different resources. Diane with the Bridal Guide, Nancy with the registry makes me think of the fact that we do have unique opportunities in New Jersey and the tri-state area for balloon rides or trips down the Jersey Shore and all the things related to, fun and hospitality and all the things that they can do. So it's really just, there's so much to it and you can get overwhelmed. Obviously, we've been trying to help them target their, interests to a certain direction, search for different things and find them. But to your question, Robert, they're looking for everything. They're looking for information, and they want to just get good, honest feedback to their concerns.
Yeah, makes sense. It makes sense. So listen, all of you, thank you so much for sharing all of your wisdom, and really, I hope our viewers, take this advice to heart and know that there are wedding professionals there at the ready to help you and guide you. And, if you listen to us, because that's the hardest part sometimes, we want to give that advice. It's getting them to listen and understand, that we all have your best interest at heart.
But because when someone really cares. And I'm going to tell you something. It's just like when you say yes to the dress, okay? Or yes, or no, it's like, or even when you say yes to a proposal, okay? It's a feeling, right? So that feeling you have to trust, all right? And that's the power of connection for all of us, individually and collectively, okay? You got to listen to your heart. So, and then when you connect your head and your heart, anything is possible. So I believe that. I am very optimistic about the future of event planning and wedding planning and everything that surrounds it, because it's an exciting time in your life. And remember that. Focus on your love, and anything, and all your dreams can come true. I know. As corny as it sounds, I really believe it's true.
Yeah.
You're here.
That's great.
Thank you all, Diane, Nancy, Jeanette.
You're welcome.
Eric, you guys are great. We
Thank
really
you.
love working with you. You guys can head on back to your booths.
I invited Diane.
Diane will be in.
I invited Diane to the at-home event booth. If anyone wants to come and meet her there, Eric's going back to his booth. Gabby is taking care of the MyRegistry booth. She's awesome. And Jeanette's going to pop back into the Kleinfeld booth.
We've got about another 45 minutes. If any of you want to stop into the video chat portion and speak with them, please do so. Again, if any of you are watching on Facebook, head on over. Guys, I'm going to put you back into the green room and you can head on out and we'll
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
We'll pop
Thanks,
into your
Irene.
booth
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you
everyone.
so